Chapter 1 Playing with Jesus. The Money Room. My ex-husband and I owned a photography business at that time, and we got into some financial problems. We had just received a call that said, "We have put a freeze on your bank account. You have 24 hours to come up with $30,000, or we will come and put a padlock on the doors and begin the process of getting our payments. Have a nice day." We didn't have $30, let alone $30,000, and we had no one we could go to who could loan us the money. Just imagine the shock of knowing that the only money we had is the $2.50 in our pocket right then. Knowing there was nothing else I could do, I went home and began to worship Jesus, not realizing what was about to happen. I was in the middle of worshiping Jesus when he said, "Sit still. I have something to show and tell you." I sat down on the floor and got comfortable. I heard him say, "Come up here. I have something to show you." I felt part of my spirit ascending. I saw Jesus standing beside me, and he gave me a big hug and a kiss on the cheek. Holding hands, we began walking towards a huge door. I noticed a large wheel-type door handle, like what you would see in an old bank vault, but I had never seen one except in old movies. The door was open, so we went in. Jesus stood to the side to let me go in first. He is a gentleman. When I entered, what I saw were rows and rows as far as you could see. I looked to the left, and still rows and rows. I looked to the right, and still more and more rows. I began to be curious and started to focus on these rows. Then I could see it. They were rows and rows of money. Piles and stacks of money. I realized this was a good place to be right now. Jesus asked me, "Do you want to see your pile?" I quickly said yes. We walked over to separate piles of neatly stacked money. I saw my name, my two girls' names, my husband's name, all on individual stacks. Each person's stack was about 3 by 3 cubic square feet. Cash money. Stacks of cash. My stacks were about 3 feet high, some 2.5 feet high, some 2 feet high, some half a foot, and about 3 feet square. He asked me, "How much do you need?" With all the faith I could pull up from the bottom of my being, I breathlessly mustered out, with a lot of embarrassment, $30,000. Knowing that it was probably all the money in my pile, Jesus said, "Okay." He leaned over and took a pinch of money, about a half an inch, and put it in my hand. Now I was really embarrassed, realizing all the faith I could muster up was only a pinch to Jesus, as he hands me $30,000+. I folded my fingers over the seemingly small, yet huge to me, handful of money, trying to figure out, how do I get this back? Where do you put it? I didn't have a pocket. I wasn't carrying a purse with me. Jesus, knowing my thoughts, said, "Do you want to know how to get it back?" I said, "Yes." Instantly, there was an angel standing against the left wall. Jesus pointed to him and said, "Go." He took off like a shot and jetted out the vault door. I don't know where he was going or how, but I was sure hoping it had something to do with the money. I looked back at the stacks and noticed some stacks were short. I asked him, "Do they ever run out?" Jesus laughed, not at me, but only because to him that was a funny question. He said, "No, it never runs out." Then he leaned down and put his hand under the shortest pile and the other hand on top, and slid the shorter pile to the side. It instantly filled back up with money level with the others. Jesus asked, "Do you know how to get the money here?" I said, "No." He said, "By tithing, giving offerings, finding scriptures that pertain to finances by faith and just because I love. I thought, there are people who have never been taught about tithing or giving or faith, so how do they get money when they need it? Jesus, knowing my thoughts, said, by my grace and mercy, and just because I love them. I noticed my daughter, who at that time was only about 1.5 years old. Her pile was mostly even, but some stacks were shorter. I asked, why are some of her stacks shorter? She knows nothing and has never tithed or given an offering and certainly hasn't quoted any scriptures. Jesus said, but she still has needs. She still needed a baby crib, diapers, food, and clothes. She also has money here for her ministry when she needs it. The funny part of this is what I saw. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a pile of money to the right side of us. I looked and read a pastor's name on it that I had just heard he had not been handling the church's finances correctly, and I was very upset with him at the time. When I looked at his pile, I noticed it was bigger than mine, and that really upset me now. I don't know if I had my hands on my hips, my mouth open, my lower lip stuck out, or not, but Jesus grinned and said, his needs are bigger than yours. Jesus never commented on my attitude. Then we walked out of the vault. The next day, a lady called us and said she had just heard we wanted to sell a portion of the store. She had $35,000 cash and could have it put into our bank account by noon if we were interested. We said yes. We were able to buy her out a year later, and we got our store back. Noticing we had more than enough. His riches are far above anything I could have ever thought or imagined, just like it says in Philippians 4:19. And my God will liberally supply your every need according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus.